Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Since we are a week away from Easter, I wanted to show you how I created this sign. Here you have the materials that I'm going to be using today. I'm using acrylic paint with brush, some flowers, which I did with felt. I did a previous video on this, and if you haven't watched it yet, I will link that down below for you. Some stencil and wood. Now here's the design that I'm going to be using. The bunny, I took it from, I did a search on Google and I just searched the bunny faces, and then I selected the one that I liked most. And then if you don't know how to upload images onto Design Space, I did do a previous video on that, so I will put that down below for you as well. And then Happy Easter, I just created it with a font, and I'm going to be using that for vinyl. So I'm just going to go ahead and change the color to gold. And then I'm going to select Make It at the bottom right. I'm going to select the bunny, and then I'm going to hit continue. I'm going to be using my maker today. The material that you're going to be searching for is stencil vinyl, so you can just go ahead and search it. As you see here, you click on stencil vinyl and then you just upload it to the machine. So the way that you're going to do that is just going to put it face down with the grid lines up, and then once that's done cutting, you can remove it. I'm going to be using some scissors to cut out the material that I didn't use so I can save that for another project. And then I'm just going to weed out the inside of the bunny like so. And you can use this two different ways. So you can use this part right here, you put it down and you paint the inside of the bunny, and then the rest you leave bare with the wood, or you put this one on and you paint the outside of the wood and the bunny would be the wood color. So I'm going to be using this format right here. This I can save for another project if you wanted to. I will be saving it. And then once you have this down onto your wood, you get your acrylic paint. I'm using this crushed coral color, which I had. And I'm just going to put a piece of fabric underneath so I don't stain my desk. And then here's the brush. I have two. I have this wide one and then I have the small one. I'm going to be using the wide one since it covers more. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to put some paint onto this cardstock over here so I can use as my base, and then I'm just going to go ahead and paint the wood with my brush. Just a tip, when you're painting wood with stencil, you just want to make sure that the stencil it's adhered to the wood properly, because you don't want any openings or bubbles. If not, the paint will leak underneath. And all you have to do is just paint over it. You don't have to do the whole paint all over the whole bunny. You can just do on the sides. And then depending on how thick and how heavy of a paint you want to do, just one coat would be sufficient. And once you're done painting, I let it dry about 2 minutes, and then I remove the stencil, and then I let it dry off completely. You don't want to let it dry off completely and then remove the stencil in case it tears the paint apart. So now that it has dried completely, I'm going to be going to do the flower portion. As you know, I did do a previous video on this, so I have some flowers here. And you can do it differently depending on how many flowers you have and how many you want to put in. You could do 3, 2, and depending also on the sizes that you have. I decided to do 1, and because I'm going to be writing Happy Easter in the middle, so I didn't want to have to overdo it. And the way that you put in the flower is you just grab glue gun, you glue the bottom portion, and then you just stick it onto the wood, and you just press down to make sure that it is on properly. Now moving on to the phrase Happy Easter, you're going to go back onto Design Space and you're going to select that mat, and then you're going to change your material. Since we are not going to be using a stencil vinyl, we're just going to be using regular vinyl. Then you're going to place your vinyl onto your mat, which is going to be facing up like I have here, and then you're just going to let it cut. Then the next step is just to weed out the material like I'm doing here. And just make sure that you're doing it very slowly and that you don't go too fast, because you could risk ripping the leathers out. So the next step is that you're going to grab some transfer tape, and then you're going to place it over your word like I'm doing here. And then you grab a scraper and you scrape it down as well. Once you start removing the piecing out of the tape, you're gonna do it very slowly, and I suggest doing it from behind. So removing the white piece out slowly like I'm doing here. I think this is the best result. And then once you have it off, you just place it in the middle wherever you want it to be. And then you grab your scraper again and you scrape it down to make sure that it's sticking onto your wood. And then once you scrape everything down, you go ahead and remove the tape out. And this is how I did it. So I really hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and Pinterest, and I'll be back with more videos.